Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry, joined today by Jordan and Terry, and we were going to do a Chelsea preview for now, but we're going to do that next. The official word has come down. Marco Silva is no longer the manager of Everton. So, guys, let's go with something, a nice softball question for you. Terry, why has Silva been sacked? Just do it in like that. Microcosm, quick argument for why he's been sacked.
9 defeats in 15 games, as gentle a run of fixtures to open the season as you could have liked that's been totally wasted and botched. The inability to fix the away form, the inability to ever turn a losing position round since he's been at the club. Just a catalogue of issues. 4 times the club have conceded in the 90th minute. Just a lot of different things which point to poor management, poor leadership, poor organisation and poor mental strength. The players we've got are blameless. We've got quality, but a lot of the problems have come down to the manager. And I was a fan of Marco Silva, but I don't think anyone is left around today after that last night who can still say that he shouldn't be sacked. It was inevitability. It was just a matter of when. A lot of people would say it should have been weeks and weeks and weeks ago.
All right. So Jordan, let's pretend we don't have as many injuries, and let's pretend that Silva gets those extra 2 players that he supposedly wanted during the summer. Center back and a center mid. Okay, one of those defensive center mids that he was looking at. Or maybe not defensive, but a center mid. Do you feel like this ends the same regardless?
That's an odd question, not Gerry.
I bring the odd questions, my friend.
No, hard question, sorry.
Hard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Good. I was like, I usually ask weird questions, so yeah.
He has been very unfortunate with the injuries. It hasn't helped him at all. Gomez, Gabaman, Delph. Staying on that, we should have had another centre-half as well. I did tweet out during the window that this could come back to bite us not having the extra centre-half. We've been quite lucky with the injuries, but I think a better centre-half in that team shows our defence up, obviously, like if we did get Zuma. But he hasn't had... We are a better team than the likes of Norwich, the likes of Bournemouth, the likes of Newcastle. They're all sitting... I'm not sure Norwich are, but they're all there's 2 teams below us, and we're better than most of them above us. So there's not really much of an excuse. I mean, you should be getting better out these players. I've defended them as much as I can, and last night was the last straw for me. I just cannot defend them anymore. He's still got good players there. They're being mismanaged. He's still got like the likes of Richarlison, the likes of Awobi, who are good players, but he's just not getting a tune out of them. And I think another manager coming in will do. I mean, they're not bad players. They look lost on the pitch, and that, to me, like I said on the Derby review, comes down to mismanagement, I'm afraid. So I think it is deserved.
So Terry, do you feel like Everton's big problem is managerial, or is it deeper rooted than that? Without having to like tin hat, you know what I mean? It's I'm a serious question because I don't know the answer. All right, because when we brought Koeman in, Koeman was a quality manager at Southampton. That didn't work. All right, now Silva, I got to be honest, I feel like he's going to be a good manager somewhere else. I feel like he's going to leave and he's going to do a good job somewhere else. And this was not the right fit. All right. So is it something more deep rooted? If so, how can that even work? I don't really understand how. Because my assumption is a lot of this begins and ends with the manager. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly still issues at the club, but personally, my view is I think they're a little bit overplayed. I think that Marcel Brands is doing a good job. Everyone like, oh, he didn't get a centre back. It's like, no, he didn't. But we haven't had one injury at centre back since the beginning of the season. So would say we got Kurt Zouma. We'd probably be a bit better in defence. And would he have this transformative effect on the league position? I don't think he would personally. We're short on midfielders. He was bought 3. They're all injured. Can't blame Silva for that, but you can't blame Brands for that either. Like, he bought 3 midfielders in the summer, and probably would have bought more, but he's still lumbered with a lot of players who really shouldn't be at the club, but he can't shift, like the likes of Schneiderlin, Walcott, Tosin. I think now you can put Sigurdsson and Keane in that box as well. I think a big part of it is the manager. He's made an absolute mess of the run of fixtures that he was given to begin with. He's been poor he's now struggling against the top teams in the league, but we played awful against Burnley. We've lost to Sheffield United. We were absolutely dreadful against Norwich. He could very easily, with better management, not be in this position. It's got to be said as well, he's a very unlucky manager, and we're an unlucky club. You can't have both. You can't. His card's been marked since he came into the Premier League, and unfairly, I think the British press, with all the old boys club, absolutely gave him they didn't give him a chance. They gave him torrents of abuse when he arrived for Hull, because an English manager should have got the job, and so on and so forth. Then he went to Norwich, and he went to Watford. Got a little bit of praise for doing well there for a little spell, but then he replaced Sam Allardyce, who's got a lot of friends in the media. So he's the perception of him as being sort of jinxed from the word go, and he just didn't have the personality, the charisma, the oomph, the X factor to get past that. And that was I think that was part of what sort of went against him when the results started turning sour, that nobody had any connection to him, nobody stuck up for him in the press, because nobody like, look at Pochettino. Everyone, I think anyone would have said, well, look at the job he's done at Spurs. I think no one would say that he's a bad manager, even though he's just got the sack. But I just think Silva has just made a lot of his own problems himself. The fact that he wouldn't change formation now he's struggling to, because he hasn't got the players, but he wouldn't change formation when the whole world could see that we were crying out to play 4-3-3 with the players we had. At one point we did have Gomez fit and Delph and play. All right, we've not had Gabaman from the start, but we didn't always have this many injuries, and he wasted the players he's got. Now he's got no choice. He's got to play, Schneiderlin, Sigurdsson, Davies, to a lesser degree. Yeah, there's all kinds he's done wrong this season. His substitutions have been awful. They've been timed badly. They take ages to come on the pitch. We always concede when they're getting warmed up or getting changed. He's made the wrong substitutions. He's made poor team selections. He's made Luca Dean the captain, then he's took it off him and gave it to Sigurdsson. He's just been winging it for so long this season, and I think the only thing he had in his column for a lot of fans, myself included, was the supporters didn't want to go through this whole rigmarole again of change manager, interim manager, because you can't get the one you want and you write off a season and so on. But I think if there'd have been a top manager available earlier who would have come, like, don't say Mourinho, then I think it would have went ages ago. I think the only reason he's kept his job is they wanted to see if it turned around itself, and it just hasn't this time. This is the second bad run in 2 seasons he's had. He had the whole middle third of last season wrong, and he's got the whole first third of this season wrong. Not good enough.
Jordan, what was your, out of the entire Silva run at Everton, what's your low point, your worst Silva moment?
Last night.
Was it last night?
Well, it's not. Yeah. It's an hard one, because we've been on a bad run all season, basically, apart from the first couple of games. Last year we were on a massive drought of winning games. I mean, I think we won 2 in between December and February. I might be wrong there, 2 or 3 anyway.
It was a bad stretch.
Yeah. My lowest point. I could say last night, but it's at the point now where it doesn't hurt as much anymore. Like, last night didn't hurt me as much. I don't know. I don't know. There's been a couple. Top of my head, I'd have to go with last night, probably.
Yeah, I would go with Leicester defeat just because we were in a position to win the game, and because we were so slow to adjust after their adjustment. They end up tying it up, and they ended up taking it. And I just remember being on the couch with my family, and I just wanted to just throw up all over the floor when they scored. It was just the worst feeling because we were like, because you saw some, like, maybe the beginnings, something happening maybe, and it was just, for me, that was my lowest Silva moment. And last night it was sort of like, I don't know, any positives were surprising for me, if that makes sense.
If you want to pick a lowest moment, I've just I wouldn't actually say it was his lowest moment because we played quite well in the game, but it was probably when Pickford dropped that ball. But it's not really, I can't really put that one down to Silva, but it was Jordan's tenure, wasn't it? But at least that game we had a good go at them, you know what I mean? Last night to me was just, they were just they didn't even get out of second gear, and that to me is just, he'd lost the player. Yeah. He'd lost the players from what I looked at it.
Terry, what's your worst Silva moment?
Oh, it's easy for me. It's Fulham away last year. We were on a good run. We turned the form around. We beat a lot of decent teams at home. Drew with Liverpool, and then we only had to beat a already relegated team who'd been awful all season, and we'd be in Europe, and we lost. We were absolutely dreadful. You played Jagielka, who was probably deep into his 50s at that point, and just because he'd scored a header, I think it was the game before, it was just we pissed Europe away. Like, close second would be the Millwall game, because that was just like such a on a plate, FA Cup next round. We need, you've botched up the League Cup, but to make amends in the FA Cup, but there was a bit of tomfoolery with the goals and the offside and whatnot. But
handball, scored with their hand. That was
it. Yeah, sorry. But no,
that was offside as well. I think it was 2 different goals.
Was he an illegal player as well in there? He wasn't registered. Honestly, Fulham easily for me, because he literally.
I had forgotten about that. Yeah, man. I had totally forgotten.
We had European football on a plate. We only had to beat an already relegated team, and we were in a good form. And the manager botched it that day, and then we were in Europe this season.
Terry, I appreciate you reminding me of more pain. That's.
I couldn't think of them off the top of my head, and now Terry's just reminded me of a load of them.
Yeah, Terry's like, I have lots of low points to share.
You can't see through the Derby haze. It sort of dominates you. There's been, like you said, Joe, the Pickford's mistake was definitely the worst sort of feeling I've had since the last time we conceded in the 90th minute against Liverpool, which was Mane. But that's not down to the manager. That I can't place that on him like yourself did. But the things that are his fault were, results like that.
The Newcastle game is pretty bad as well. Like, we were 2-0 up at half time, and I was actually at the game. We lose it 3-2. But again, was that more down to Jordan Pickford? No.
That was Pickford's overly emotional game where he made a lot of silly mistakes, and he was not.
He made some bad subs though as well. He brought Mina on, who'd been injured for a while, and he didn't bring Schneiderlin on, who at the time, if you can believe it, was actually in a good run of form. He should have, he could have affected that game differently, but I didn't include that because that was a lot of Pickford rather than Silva. But Silva wasn't blameless in that one.
All right, so let's end fondly. Terry, what's your favorite Silva moment? And I feel like we should have like that music from the old Incredible Hulk when he's walking down the road. I feel like we should have that played over this. So, do you have one, Terry? That's
Yeah, I mean, there were times. Last season when we beat Man United at home with the 4-0. Now, Man United aren't what they used to be, and, you know, they were pretty bad that day, but it had just been a long time since we beat any of the top teams, and then we went on a little run of beating a few of the top teams. We beat Arsenal, beat Chelsea, beat Man United, drew at Liverpool, which, you know, doesn't matter this season, but it did like cost them the league title that year, and it was just like, wow, something you can get behind with this manager, you know, big results, and it had been so dire for the season before and most of that season. And the 4-0 was just great. It was like, I love this, because all the Man United pundits are all their masks are slipping now, like acting like they're above losing to Everton, even though they've lost to Everton loads of times. Like they're really, 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 you know, pissy about it, and we just gave them a hammering. And it was because you know, we had, you know, some of the more likeable players like Richarlison scored the overhead kick and Luka Dean scored, and you know, it was just like, this could, you know, could be something. And then we turned it round, and we could have got into Europe, but then that was punctured completely with that Fulham game. So so I'd say the Man United game, if you ask me for a Silva high point.
Yeah, I don't think I can argue that one. I think that would be mine as well. Jordan, how about you?
Yeah, it's got to be Man U 4-0. I mean, the atmosphere was back at Goodison and everything. The players were looking like they're enjoying it, and I really thought this could be the next step. But it was another false dawn by the look of it. But another one I really was proud of was when we beat my West Ham 2-0 at their ground. We absolutely battered them, and it should have been about 5 or 6. We destroyed them, and that was probably the best. Even though we beat Man U 4-0 and West Ham 2-0, that was probably the best under his management, I thought, as a team, what we played.
It was very good. You're right about that. All right, guys. Anything else on Silva?
Thanks for trying, Marco. Sorry it didn't work out, but
I wanted it to work.
Yeah,
I wanted it to work, but it just when people look back at it, it was never going to work. Really, it's always been snake bit from the start with the, you know, the lack of enthusiasm from the media, and he'd have had to have been something special to overcome that, and he just wasn't special enough.
Yeah. All right, Marco, take it easy, man. I like. Thanks for trying. I like that. I think that's a good line. Good line from Marco. Hearty handshake.
Thanks for Richard.
Take it easy.
Because that, and he's the only top player I think we've got at the minute. Yeah, it's based on this season anyway. But thanks for Richarlison, if nothing else.
Right on. All right, Marco, take it easy, man. Good luck to you. Let's figure out who's going to be managing us. All right. Bye, everybody.